Welcome back to the Daily Dean. Is the cleanup song communist or more broadly, socialist? First of all, I'll be playing it for you so we're all on the same page about the lyrics before we dive into our analysis. Right now.
Clean up, everybody everywhere. Clean up, everybody do your share. Clean up, everybody everywhere. Clean up.
Now that's all really what you need to know about the song. It's obviously those 3 to 4 lyrics repeated again and again in higher pitches and whatnot for about, 30 or 40 seconds. But second of all, we have to discuss what really are the meanings of these words. Communism, socialism, cleanup, cooperation, before we have any fruitful discussion, because you may often see headlines and titles of articles saying communism, the plight of capitalism, or something like, dramatic like that, and the article may never even talk about what communism is, or may not have, an article addressing both sides of what these ideologies mean. So, communism is an ideology underneath socialism. It might actually be better to start off with capitalism, because that's what we're all familiar with, right? Capitalism involves 2 classes, workers and owners. Workers are people who are, working as a part of the means of production, or who are selling their labor to owners in exchange for monetary value or compensation, money, dollars, whatever. And owners are people who own the means of production in order to make money off of it. So if you don't own a business or a factory or, a company, then you're a worker and you're not an owner. And a good tip is that being a worker does not depend on socioeconomic status. A doctor is as much a worker as, a carpenter, because even though they may very likely be different economic statuses, they're still both selling their labor, a carpenter in terms of their handcrafting, a doctor in terms of their medical knowledge, to somebody who owns their carpentry business, or to a hospital, or in order to get money out of it. So, how does this relate to socialism? Socialism is about taking the means of production from owners and giving it to the workers in order to let them democratically control what the means of production does, how much the workers are paid, where they're going to work, or what they're going to do, what their conditions are going to be like. A great example of this is imagining you're in a textile factory and you're working on these machines. If your owner could decide, to pay you as little as possible, they would, because the driving force in capitalism is profit. In order to make profit, you have to minimize your costs, as in the amount you pay your workers, in order to maximize your revenue and your profit, in order to increase, how much you can make and how much you can invest into your business again and again. So, if we are under socialism in that textile factory where you're working on these machines and stuff, you would be able to choose how much you're paid along with your other workers and choose which textiles you make, which will help your business the most and help the people who are working in your business. So, communism seeks to avoid all of that by getting rid of classes. In a perfect Star Trek-like society, we wouldn't have classes like business workers and business owners, because everybody would have all their needs met. Now, how does this all relate to the cleanup song? I think it's the second line, "Everybody do your share," is reminiscent of a Marxist line that goes along, "From each according to their ability, to each according to their need." Basically saying, if you're a capitalist or you're an owner and you're making a lot of cash, we want to distribute some of that cash to people who need it, to people who need food, need shelter, need medical services, and whatnot. That is cooperation and seeking to help people who are not as lucky or as profitable or make as much profit as an owner. This is very notably not capitalist, as capitalism would seek to make as much profit as possible, which means not giving money to people who need it. And so the cleanup song is reminiscent more of socialism, which seeks to cooperate with your fellow workers and establish a business that is humane and seeks to create better environments for the workers and whatnot. So, I hope that cleared up some things about what capitalism and socialism means, and communism, and I would argue that the song is more closely related to socialism, communism, and Marxism than it is related to capitalism, which is very, very broadly related to cooperation. So, I hope this was entertaining, and I hope this was informative. I hope you have a wonderful week, and goodbye.